All right, we talk about our time in Maryland. Now it's draft time, right? Like what is the thought process? Yes, I want to go and take care of my family. That whole process. What was your game plan after leaving Maryland? Where did you train at? How all that part that a lot of times people don't really get a chance to see that behind the scenes of the training part. A part of it all.
I was my first agent I had was Carl and Kevin Poston when I was in school. It was Charles Woodson, LeVar Arrington, because I was close to Seawood and those guys. So they were all getting massive contracts, all of them. So I did that, and then I'm going to Gary Wishart. So Gary Wishart had like Dwight Freeney, Jason Taylor, Terrell Suggs. He had all the outside guys, and Darren Sproles, and Pac-Man Jones and Travis Johnson all signed with him the same year. And now they moved us out to L.A. I've never been to the West Coast before. So they moved us out to L.A. to Marina Del Rey. I'm training in Marina Del Rey for 3 months, bro. I was lifting weights at the Gold's Gym in Venice, and we were going to do our field work and track work at Santa Monica College. And so that was the best experience of my life, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, I'd never even seen palm trees until so I was watching TV or something.
Right.
We wasn't used to seeing it. And I got out there, man. It kind of a game changer because the West Coast is different for one, than what I've been on the East Coast my whole entire life. So the West Coast is different, but also too, man, it just opened my eyes up when we talked about leaving home and getting away. You seen something different for the first time, and then I was hooked, man. You couldn't get my ass back home after that, and I love myself, Maryland, D.C. and all that. I love coming back home, and I still do a bunch of charity stuff at Maryland and still involved in community stuff, but, I just love the West Coast.
No, absolutely. So, all right, we get drafted by San Diego. What is life like for you as a rookie? Who are some of the vets that you walk into that locker room when you walk in, you look around and you're like, is that LT? Is that Phillip Rivers? You're looking around and you're seeing these guys. What was that moment like for you?
I was supposed to get drafted here.
I know. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah. So I walked in, man. It's kind of surreal because you watch these. I think this came off of like a 12-4 season, something like that, right? They came. Normally, when you get drafted that high, you don't really go to a bad team. Anywhere in that top 15 or top 10 ain't really that good. And what happened was Eli Manning didn't want to go to San Diego, so in return, San Diego got the extra pick. That pick they used on me to draft me in the first round, and so everything. So I didn't know how big the situation was until I got there. Like I didn't know how much I was going to be part of that history, right? Because Phillip Rivers came there, played in NC State.
Yep.
Which they never beat us in Maryland this whole time he was there. And
I'm sure you reminded him of that often.
All the time.
Because nobody talks trash like Phillip Rivers.
Ain't nobody close. Close.
The thing about Phillip Rivers, if you don't know, because I played against him in college, is no one talks more trash than Phillip Rivers, never uses a cuss word.
No.
Never uses a cuss word.
Never. And trust me, I've tried to get it out of him. Because there's been some days we've been kicking their ass in practice. And, a couple turnovers, Cromartie or one of those guys picking the ball off, we batting the ball down at the line of scrimmage, getting their face, start yelling. We try to pull it out of him. And we know that if he didn't do it then, nobody was ever going to give him the curse. It was never going to happen. And so I got there, man. It was crazy. Drew Brees was the starter. So I walked in the locker room. It was Drew Brees, and then Phil was the backup.
That's right.
And so you got to think, man, we were so stacked at one point when I got there. This is how crazy the team was. You got Phillip Rivers as the backup. Drew Brees is the starter. You got LT starting. Michael Turner's backing him up. Wow. And you got Darren Sproles as a third running back.
He was doing primarily special teams at that time.
Yeah. So and then Lorenzo Neal at fullback. We were so stacked, dude. Like it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So practices end up being more competitive than the games because I had to see a Marcus McNeil, Chris Dillman, Lorenzo Neal. Like we were just seeing them all day. So by the time we got to the games, it was just like, oh, okay, whatever.